Good afternoon. Is it afternoon? Yeah, it's afternoon. No, I went to bed like way too late, or I should say, way too early this morning, or whatever you want to call it. For all the harassment that's been going on, yeah, it does make it hard to sleep. But this time around, it was kind of nice. I was like, you know what, screw this. Went and smudged the home, my folks' place, and then of course here. And I know some people might think it's funny, or whatever, entertaining, but yeah. I smudged both the house and the trailer, all that stuff, and then used some sea salt water with white vinegar so I can wash down all the mirrors and pretty much all the reflective surfaces. And then put kosher salt all the way around the fucking place. And you know what? After doing that, even though I was a little stressed and all that stuff by the end of it and was up for maybe an hour or two longer, I ended up passing out and sleeping like a rock. I could probably use a little bit more sleep. Granted, that might be strange for a lot of people out there, but that's where, like, my faith comes into a mix between spirituality and Christianity. That type of thing, Christian-based, Christian Judeo, whatever you want to call it, type-based faith, because I struggle to put myself into any specific religion. I really do. Because I'm not sure where I fit. I really don't. I don't really fit in this world, obviously. It's why I struggle so hard with people and relationships. It's obvious I don't fit. But I did end up creating a shirt for one of my American Gummy-Bears online shop. And it's a fundraiser. I don't make any money on it. You can leave a tip if you want. It gives you that option, I guess. But all the proceeds, all of it, goes to Real Men Against Domestic Violence. There's another I've been wanting to do. There's another I'm going to do with the American Gummy-Bear line, and it's a fundraiser to help veterans out and stuff like that. Because I've been trying to figure out some of that part of it, and of my shirt shop, and wanting to make sure it's done right, or as best I can. Because I'm not about screwing it up. It's just, I don't need any of the money from that stuff. That needs to go to people who needs help, from their situations. I don't think, women are horrible beings. We were created equally. We may be there. We both have our downsides and we both have our positives. Where one can't do, the other can. There's a reason why we were created this way. But what is it? There are yin to our yang, or whatever it's called. And people need to accept that. So do women. We were kind of built for each other. Whether some like it or not, it's just we created a system that is practices maternal favoritism and is paternally biased. It doesn't mean women need to have less representation. It just means men deserve equal representation to them. And the saying, a woman's word, over a man's, it's become abused. And I'm noticing a lot of men out there are going through the same thing I've been going through, and others, they're still healing from their situation. Others have been long past but are still carrying those wounds. And then there's some out there who are going through it right now as I'm doing this video, and then as it uploads and as you watch it. And when any of them come out about it, they're always going to be questioned. Because in everybody's eyes is, how can a woman ever do that? Yet we see examples of how women can throughout the news media all the time. From sexual abuse of children, their students, that type of stuff, to mothers murdering their babies. And I don't like saying those words. But people need to realize that if we are truly to have an equal system that represents everybody equally, regardless of whatever the difference is, that needs to happen. Quit talking about it. Quit throwing each other under the bus because somebody has something swinging between their legs and you don't, or vice versa. Quit throwing people under a bus because they don't look like you or think like you, feel like you, whatever it is. Unless they're out intentionally trying to harm people and trying to destroy lives like a lot of these narcissists do, and these other abusers do on purpose, yes, they have to answer for their shit. Doesn't mean they're not in place of ever to be forgiven for their actions. No, they can be forgiven. We have to learn to not just forgive ourselves for allowing it to happen so long. We have to learn to forgive the people who did it, while at the same time recognizing that forgiveness doesn't mean just letting them get away with what they did, because they can't keep continuing on from one person to the next. And as so long as people just sit there and don't say a damn thing, there's no wonder why, well, men don't have representation. There's a reason why some women out there don't get representation, because they don't speak up. Because we're too busy telling each other or telling our kids, oh, nobody's going to listen, nobody's going to do this, nobody's going to do that. There's a reason why men don't have representation in comparison to women. And this isn't meant to be a jab at the opposite sex. That's not what this is about. I believe both men and women deserve to have somebody and someone out there to help represent them in this lopsided system that we have going on. And as I've said, it's paternally biased, as in it's not in favor of men at all, or fathers. And it practices maternal favoritism. And whether women want to believe it or not, 9 times out of 10, even if it's an abusive mother and there's proof and everything of it, that mother will get their child. I used to think that, I always had this thought that it was always best to leave the child with the mother. Yes, there's certain stages that the child really does need that mother, especially when they're an infant and on into those stages. They really need it. Doesn't mean a dad's not capable of providing the same nurturing, loving care to their child as a mother. No, they can. They're more than capable. The primary part of where the mom's concerned is they need the booby for the milk. Doesn't mean they're needed any less. No, moms and dads are needed equally. And when moms or dads start using their children as power tools to abuse the other parent, creating parental alienation, which later on creates parental alienation syndrome within the child, causing permanent damage for both people, as in the child and the targeted parent, well, the parent involved that was pushing this generally gets to sleep pretty soundly at night until they answer for their part in the abuse. So, anyways, I'm going to keep this short. I've started to wake up thinking about this, and I don't want my heart rate going up right now. I had a pretty good rest, surprisingly, after some distress and dealing with that hacking shit. But yeah, the hacking shit for my narcs. But I want people to, I just want to let also people know that, I have a shirt now in my shop. All proceeds, like all of it, unless you want to leave a tip, because I guess there's a tip option. All of it all the proceeds go to Real Men Against Domestic Violence. It doesn't go to some organization, I'll just say like that in a sense, that right now has one foot in the door of trying to do better in their communities, while the other foot is still in the realm of committing crimes. I would rather, yeah. All proceeds on this go straight to that. I don't make nothing from it. Thanks for watching. And later.